Hello everyone. I'm going to talk about an abstract. It's the last part of your report writing. Hey, what is an abstract? It's kind of a summary of a research paper or an article or maybe a book. Yeah, you probably have seen very long books, very long research papers, like 50 pages long, 100 pages long, and you don't want to read the whole thing to find out if there is anything useful for you in this book or this article. That's why we have an abstract. It's kind of a summary of what you have written, and it's placed in the beginning, like after the title. Yeah, but because it's a summary, you can't write it before you finish your report because you cannot summarize something you haven't written yet. So again, it's a summary of the contents of something, a book or an article. And because it's a summary, you don't write your opinion, you don't write the details, you don't add any new information to it. Yeah, you just reduce the length of the original, and you keep the main ideas and the main meaning, right? And you write it after you finish a report, but you place it before the introduction, after the title, for the readers to know what the whole report is about. Okay, take a look at these parts of an abstract and open the sample report you have. Read the abstract of the sample report, and place these parts in the correct order. You can highlight, underline stuff in your samples. Pause the video and we'll discuss the answers in a moment. All right, let's see what we have. Here is the correct order. If you look at the sample abstract, you can see that first you start with the general information about the topic, then why this information is important, then the aim, then how the research was conducted, what the results showed, and something about suggestions. Now, where did we take all these parts from? From which parts of the report? You can pause the video again and think about it. All right, let's see. So the first three parts we took from the introduction. If you remember, we write about general information, some background information, importance of the topic, and the aim in the introduction. And we write all that in present tense. Then we talk about the research, how it was conducted, and what method was used, and we use past tense. And then when we talk about results and discussion, what the results showed, and some explanation as well about some possible explanation of the results. And finally, conclusion, something about the information about suggestions and advice. Let's take a look again at the things you need to include. Here are the things, and here are the parts of the report you take into the information from, you summarize it. All right. The important thing is in results and discussion, you talk about the main finding related to the hypothesis, because the hypothesis is the center of your research, right? All right, let's look at this abstract. You can pause the video and think what's wrong with this abstract. All right, let's see. So to begin with, we'll look at the parts we took from the introduction, and it looks the red part is taken from the introduction, and it looks too much. It's not very summarized, honestly. It could be shorter. Remember, it's a summary, so it should be more concise. Like the first two or maybe three sentences can be written in one or two sentences, and definitely fewer words, right? The blue part is taken from what is it called? Methods and materials. And what is missing is some steps, like main method. Yeah, it says the fitness was assessed, but how? By doing what? Yeah, we're not asking you to describe the whole thing again and repeat the whole methods and materials thing, but just summarize in one sentence the steps. Then results and discussion part. It says what the results showed, but it didn't give us any explanation for that. And the last sentence is a very common mistake students make. Governments should create stricter laws to reverse the rise of obesity. First of all, you need to summarize the conclusion part. Summarize. You should not repeat. You should not repeat any recommendations or any advice or predictions. You should not do that, right? You should, like, this sentence is definitely from a conclusion, right? So it's written already there. Why do you need to repeat that if it's a summary, right? Take a look at the sample abstract, the way it's written there, and please follow the sample. The other thing is, if you give advice or suggestions, recommendations for the government, for future research, for individuals, for somebody else, in the abstract you need to mention that. Here it says only the governments. Did you give advice only to some governments? Or did you mention future research and what ordinary people should do? So be careful, don't miss it out. All right, and now what you need to do, you need to write an abstract for the fertilizers report. And remember, because it's a summary of the report, you should not include details, statistics, or opinion, or any new information. And you need to make sure you mention these things and take them from these parts of the report. The introduction part you write in present, methods and materials in the past, discussion result in the past, and conclusion in present. You can look at the sample report abstract and see the verbs and which tenses they are used in.